It's the morning cryptos. All right, it is Tuesday, August 29th, day 30 of my personal challenge to explore the galaxy of greed and grooviness that is the crypto space, the crypto ecosystem, starting with Bitcoin and exploring what else is going on. And it's been quite the ride so far. Immediately I got hooked in with my free will into the world of the Ponzi schemes. And that was exciting for a couple of weeks while I put my money into a Ponzi scheme to see what would happen and to watch the crowd effect as I tuned into the people on YouTube who were all jumping in and trying to prove that it worked and trying to prove that it wasn't a Ponzi scheme. And sure enough, they all were Ponzi schemes and they shut down. And we're also in the midst of the BitConnect breakdown and the Control Finance breakdown. And even though they were much more designed for long term, still Ponzi schemes. At this point, I kind of feel like Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme because everybody's put their money in, but no one can get it out. And what is it really good for right now, other than for putting into Ponzi schemes, right? That's kind of, I have a little jaded view at this point of Bitcoin just because of the transaction times and the nonsense, the political stuff. And someone coming into this space new, the point I've been making in some of my videos is that the end user, the new person coming into this space is not a computer person, is not a technical person, but is also someone who's willing to try new things. So we're still early adapters. We're just not early adapters. And the thing that we want something that actually works. We want a currency that we can actually use at the store that cuts out the credit card companies, excuse me, my coffee, that cuts out the credit card companies, that cuts out the government, central banks, and all that kind of stuff. That fired up my imagination, and yet we're not there yet. However, the ideas lead the discoveries, right? Columbus wasn't just floating around in his boat. He had an idea that the world was round, right? And he was an asshole, but he got the job done, right? So anyway, today I'm going to look at the numbers, and that's where I'm coming from philosophically, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually. I am a hypnotist. I am a student of the human mind, and today I'm going to look at the numbers and give you a little commentary as I do so. So we're starting with Litecoin because to me, Litecoin seems to be the currency that has the most usability. It's available on Coinbase, for example. The transaction times are quite reasonable, and its price is quite reasonable. Like silver to gold, it is much more affordable. And the thing is, if you buy one Bitcoin today at whatever it is, 4,300, I haven't looked at the numbers. It might be 2,000 today. I don't know. I don't look at the numbers before I don't look at the charts before I do this because I want to be surprised. I want to see what's happening. I mean, let's say you bought Bitcoin today. One Bitcoin is going to run you at least $4,000, right? And then let's say Bitcoin takes a dump, and goes back down to 900, where it was when I first started in February, or 1,000 to use a round number. You've just lost a lot of fucking money, right? You buy one Litecoin for $62 here, and it goes down. Oh, Okay, you've only lost like $30, right? So the entry is much lower. I was reading an article about scams, and I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to see if I can find that. Yeah, top story. Miners are milking Bcash's difficulty adjustments and why this is a problem. Good article to read, people. But up here, let's see. There was... there's an article on scams. So, this is an article by Vitalik Buterin, who is, one of the main guys behind Ethereum, and it's about a scam. It's about a Ponzi scheme, right? But look at the date, August 30th, 2012, right? And let's look at the price at some point. Let's see. At one point he mentioned what the price was of Bitcoin. And it was, it was really tiny. There we go. Okay. All right. The consequences of the blah, 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 blah. Bitcoin price ended its 3-month-long rally after briefly spiking up to a one-year high of $15.40 and began a precipitous decline, losing slightly over half its value over 3 days before recovering to what appears to be a stable level at $10 or $11. Okay. So a lot has changed except for one thing, human nature, right? The price has changed, but human nature is still the same. And what is it that people want? They want something that's easy. They want something that's easy, right? What do guys want, right? They want to get laid. What do girls want? What do gals want? They want a ring, right? What do fat people want? They want to lose weight without exercising or changing their diet. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? Poor people want to be rich without doing any work to get rich, right? And that's human nature, right? That's how we are wired. And it's not a bad thing because it helps the animal in nature go for stuff that works, right? The squirrel, if there's a walnut tree in my backyard, and there is, the squirrels can get a lot of nutrition from those walnuts, right? They have to work to get to the middle of them. However, they're going to look for the easiest food, right? Which tends to be my garden. They just dug up all my beets, right? Easy. The walnuts have been untouched. Maybe they're not ready, but they're going to go for the easier food. And that's the way we're hardwired. So as I look at the charts, as I come to you and speak to you every day, that's my perspective, that I'm coming into this place new, but I'm also coming in as kind of an observer and a researcher and a scientist in my own mind, trying to figure out what makes sense, what's hype, what's wishful thinking, what's hypnosis, and what's actually practically useful. All right, so that's my big thought that I wanted to get out before I started looking at the numbers. So thanks for your forbearance. Let's look at Litecoin. Oh, it's up. What did I say all last week? All last week I drew my little line. I drew my little line right there. And I drew this other line. Boom, or you could draw it right here. This is, right? All the bottoms were higher. The tops were about the same, right? And there's probably some fancy trader word for it. And then we had a break for it last week. I literally caught that live. I think it was last Tuesday, literally a week ago. Come on, chart. Come on, right there. Okay, easy chart. Last Tuesday, it made a break. Boom, and I was watching it as it happened. And a couple hours earlier, I had said, it's gonna make a break. Look at this pattern, right? This is just observing humans interacting in a market. That's what this is. And the perception of value. And with the whole SegWit thing, it might help Bitcoin, but it will definitely help Litecoin. If Bitcoin actually becomes easier to do these atomic trades and the Lightning Network gets going and all this stuff. But all that's going to take time. But in the meanwhile, Litecoin's working right now. And there's no hard fork that has split off that's confusing things or that's offering miners premiums to leave the other currency. And in other words, it kind of works right now. And that doesn't mean it's not vulnerable to the same crap that Bitcoin's vulnerable to, but at least it works. So, and it's supported, there's a team, there's some direction. All right, the 1 hours. I'm looking at this, and if you have to get in, yeah, okay, but I wouldn't recommend getting in right now. We want a retracement. And on the 30 minutes, our trend is down, but it's not as, yeah. So where's the resistance here? Let's just draw a line. Boom. And probably I would look for it to kind of hit 60 before it maybe moves up again. But again, we don't know. Let's see what's going on. The 1 minutes. Yeah, it looks like there's some profit taking going on right now. So yeah, so Litecoin. I like it. I bought some here. That's when I bought it. All right. Again, the average person doesn't want to take the time to look at a chart and or to watch YouTube videos in depth, or to take the time. I mean, I look at the markets all day. Every time I go by my computer, I just check in. I see what's going on. I see what's happening. I see if there's a buy point or a sell point. That takes work and effort, right? But it's the same amount of work and effort it takes to put your money in a Ponzi scheme and then check it all day compulsively, like I was the first 2 weeks of this challenge. What's going to happen? Is it going to go down? Is it going to close? Am I going to lose my money? It's exciting. People like it. That's why people gamble. It is a human trait. And it will not go away. And the government, I know the government will come in and try to regulate all this. And ultimately, people want the opportunity to lose their money. They will bitch and moan, but it was fun for them. Anyway, let's go to Bitcoin next. Oh, Bitcoin. So we're in a top. And it's a double top at the moment. I won't draw a line up there because there is a line, that red line. And I don't think it's a very good time to buy Bitcoin. I could be wrong. I got so pissed last week at just how slow it was that I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm taking all of my money out of Bitcoin, right? And I did that on camera mostly to demonstrate what's going on with the new user and how quickly Bitcoin could literally crash. How quickly people could go, you know what? The idea is good, but it's flawed, like the idea of AOL was great for a while, but then better ideas came in. And that's one of the things Eric Voorhees said in his interview. I think it was on Epic TV or Epic Channel or whatever they call themselves. He basically said, yeah, if the SegWit thing doesn't fix this, Bitcoin will have to be replaced as the main cryptocurrency. So that's the deal. But let's just look at the 1 hours, and we have, what do we have? We have a double or triple top, right? And we have the lows are higher, right? So my prediction is that Bitcoin's going to break out of this, particularly if there's some good news that comes into the market. Like, let's say SegWit actually does get implemented in the next week or two or month, or, I don't know how long it's going to take. It could go up. And my prediction is it'll probably go up to 5,000. I don't think it's going to go to 50,000. Something that is innately worthless, innately that you can't use to buy anything anywhere other than convert back into fiat currency, why would it be so valuable? Just because everybody around the world says it's valuable, right? Isn't that hypnosis? Isn't that a belief? Isn't that marketing? Isn't that just our knowledge of this thing and our lack of knowledge of something else that's better? Right? And right now, the general public, which gets all their information from the mainstream media, all they know about is Bitcoin. That's all I knew about back in February when I first started watching documentaries. There was no mention of these other coins. It was all about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin is going to change the world, and Bitcoin this and Bitcoin that. And yeah, so maybe Bitcoin has legs. Maybe they can fix their problems. But they don't talk about those problems in all the documentaries about how Bitcoin is going to change the world. And the idea is still sound. But every new technology that changes the world has kind of a dark side and a bright side. So on the 30 minutes, we have a serious kind of double, triple top situation here. So yeah, I would say Bitcoin's going to go up. Just looking at the chart, not knowing anything about it, other than the chart, I would say good place to get in if you want some of this Bitcoin thing. And on the 1 minute, it's making a move. So interesting. It might break out. But again, that has nothing to do with the underlying value. That's people's beliefs about it. Interesting stuff. All right. So that's it for the Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum. See what Ethereum's doing. Yeah, Ethereum's going to hit 400 again. I don't think it's a great time to get in. And again, I have a lot of the same concerns about Ethereum that I have about Bitcoin. But just the scaling challenge, and those will probably be fixed, just like, MS-DOS figured out a way to slam Windows on top of it, and it didn't work that well, and it probably still doesn't work that well, but it kind of works enough, and enough people use it, so okay. The 1 hours, let's see, so we got the 1 day chart. We're almost in a double top. So that could be interesting. Once it hits the 400 range, I will look for it to see where it hits resistance and to see if it kind of pauses. And at that point, I might get some more Ethereum. I only have a little bit. I have like one. I've got one Ethereum. And there's the 1 hours. Let's see what's going on the 30 minutes. Okay, if you have to get in, look at your 30-minute chart. It's making a nice little retracement here that you could pop in on. And the 1 minutes, again, nice little retracement. And it looks like we have some resistance here at 360. Or support, I mean, not resistance, support. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on with Ethereum. Again, not something I've been paying that much attention to, because I'm looking to see what's going to happen when EOS comes into the market, which has evidently fixed all the problems that Ethereum has, and it has a really good team, and we'll see what happens. So that's Ethereum. Let's go to Dash. Oh, Dash. Dashy, Dash, Dash. Dash evidently made a move too. Got me some. All right, so here we have on the 1 hours a nice sideways range, although it's kind of looks like it wants to work its way down a little bit on the 1 hours. Bit of a retracement. So if you think Dash is going to go higher, good place to get in. And again, just look at some old news about Bitcoin. Bitcoin was trading at $15, then it was trading at $20, then it was trading, you know what I mean? The prices move to a new level, and then everybody gets used to them, right? The central bank basically inflates the US dollar by 3% every year. And it happens incrementally enough so that the average person is like the frog in the tub of water that's being slowly heated to a boil. People don't notice. But then they go out for dinner and they're like, wow, it's really expensive. You know, this sandwich was $100, you know. I remember when I could go to Subway and get a sandwich for, you know, $10. Now it's $100, you know. But that leap from a $10 sandwich to a $100 sandwich didn't just happen in one day. You know, it moves and then people get used to it, and then it moves and people get used to it, and then it moves and people get used to it, and then it moves and people get used to it. So this is a get used to it moment with Dash. That was my point. And not a bad time to get in if you want to get in at this point. And again, this is not trading advice. This is just me looking at a chart and saying what I think and what I would do. I'm already in Dash. I'm not going to buy any more Dash right now. I'm not going to buy any more at the moment because I got in down here in the 190s at the sideways trading range. So again, look through all the currencies and just see if you can find a sideways trading range in a currency that isn't as well known as the big ones, and you have a chance to make yourself some money. But it takes effort, it takes attention, it takes timing, it takes all the same things that putting your money into a Ponzi scheme takes, except it takes a little more patience and it takes a little more responsibility. If you fuck up, you can't blame some faceless person behind a website for being a crook, right? If I screw up and I lose money here because I acted impulsively or emotionally or I didn't follow my plan, then I'm the only one to blame. And people want to look for someone to blame. The victim mindset is so sewn into the fabric of the modern mind, particularly the American mind, where we have been, you know, the government has really become a social experiment in. It's really socialism here in the United States, or fascism, or something, where, oh no, we can't have people losing money. We must protect them from themselves, right? So let's let only big investors, big institutional investors, you know, invest their money, because the average person doesn't know enough, and they might lose their money, and then they might end up on welfare, and we're going to have to support them, right? But in the meantime, we bail out the biggest of the biggest banks, and give the CEOs of those banks, you know, massive bonuses, right? So the population really got pissed in 2008, and Bitcoin came out of that whole, we have to do something else. We, the small person, has to do something to take charge of our own money, right? And that's the romantic idea behind Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin itself can't handle it technically because it was the first to market and all the bugs hadn't been worked out, and it's not scalable, and there's all kinds of dissension and arguments and political stuff with the coin, these other coins will just kind of show up that are better. And eventually people will figure out that these are better. And the market will vote with its feet. Anyway, Dash. Let's look at, did I look at the 1 hours? I can't remember. I'm flapping my lips. Okay, yes. Nice sideways trading range here on Dash if you want to get in. Not a bad time to get in if someone wants to get in. All right? In the 1 day. Good shit. I like Dash. And I like the fact that I own some and it's going up in value. Right? That makes me feel good. Right? That's being human. Self-interest. Let's look at Monero. I do not own Monero. All right. So I do not own any Monero. But I'm definitely interested in it and watching it. And if it makes a significant retracement, when it makes a significant retracement from this incredibly intense move up, you know, and people may have been taking money out of Bitcoin and moving it to Monero, you know, and just basically parking it. We'll see. The 1 hours, nice place to get in. You could get into Monero today. Right now would be a good time if you believe it can sustain this price, because what do we have? We have a couple of double tops and we have ascending bottoms. This to me is, and actually the tops are a little higher too. So Monero, not a bad place to get in if you think it's going to blast past 133. And it kind of looks like it wants to. I might look into getting my Poloniex thing set up and getting a little bit of Monero. But again, it involves getting a whole separate wallet because my wallet doesn't hold Monero, right? So again, user experience. Maybe Monero is different because it's such a clandestine cryptocurrency that maybe you just need a separate Monero wallet. But how do you exchange it, right? If Shapeshift doesn't really support it, like how do you go back and forth between it? That's a problem. Like you can just maybe buy it and exchange and hold it. But again, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to send it to anybody? Like, if nobody else has a Monero wallet, like how are you going to do that, right? So I'm kind of looking to see what's going to go on with Monero, and I don't know anything about the team behind it. I don't know anything about it, right? So that's kind of my next level of research. And this space is so huge and so much is happening so fast that it's pretty much impossible for any one person to understand all of this. So you got to pick a few areas that you can play with. So for me, it's Litecoin and Dash. I can handle those two, and, and keep an eye on some of these others. And I will be, in the days to come, checking out some of the other currencies like Augur and IOTA, and we'll see what goes on with them. So Monero, not a bad place to get in on the 1 hours. A really good little indicator right there. Good time to get in. It's taking a little pause from its cranking up, and the 30 minutes even nicer. Just take a look at that. That's a classic buy signal right there, right now. Right now, right this second at 7:40 a.m. Good time to get yourself some Monero. Boom. It's on sale. Go shopping. And man, it's just cranking on that chart. Okay. So that's it for the Daily Cryptos. Thank you for watching, and I really appreciate it. If you liked what I'm doing here, please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. That helps me a lot. And my son just sent me an article on the Bitcoin bubble. Interesting. I think fundamentally, I think the market for Bitcoin is so much larger than it actually is right now. But it's only going to get bigger when they fix some stuff. So I think at the moment, this bubble needs to pop in Bitcoin. And I think it probably will pop. It may go up a little more, but then it's, people are going to go like, at some point, the emperor has no clothes. At some point, a little kid, someone with beginner's mind goes, yeah, I don't get it. Why is it so expensive if I can't use it and I can't exchange it and it takes 2 days to do anything with it? Like, huh? And some days the miners are on the job and some days they're over someplace else, and like what the fuck? So anyway, that's it for today. My name is Mark Shepard. This has been the Hypnosis of Money, the Morning Cryptos, and it's something I do almost every day. So far, it's been every day since I started a 90-day challenge for myself to really go deep into this whole space and to educate myself and to understand the human dynamic as we interact with something as abstract as a cryptocurrency. It's not something you can hold in your hand. It's in our minds. It's in our imaginations. It's a vast cultural communication and agreement. Money is actually a form of communication. Andreas Antonopoulos said that, and I think he was right on the money. Check out some of his stuff, and I'm going to include him in my series on Bitcoin thought leaders, which I'm going to be starting soon as part of my Crypto Cranker's Guide to the Galaxy of Greed and Grooviness. And that's it for today. Please, someone start the music. Have an awesome day. I appreciate you guys. Leave a comment. I love you. Peace, grooviness. Be safe out there. Please avoid the Ponzi schemes. Thank you very much.